What is going on, guys? The Dallas Cowboys have a tough decision to make. To pay or not to pay for Dak Prescott. In most instances, it'd be an easy choice to pay Dak, but the 2020 free agent and trade markets consist of many starting caliber quarterbacks, highlighted by none other than New England Patriots icon Tom Brady. The Cowboys have been mentioned as a possible suitor for Brady. It sounds crazy at first, but when you stop to think about it just for a second, it actually makes a lot of sense. Here are 8 reasons why the Cowboys should ditch Dak Prescott for Tom Brady. Number 8, Bradys Leadership. The word leader is thrown around a lot in professional sports, but for good reason. Most human beings are followers. The Dallas locker room is no different, and they could use somebody like Brady to change the entire atmosphere. This isn't to say that the Cowboys have a toxic locker room. There are some charismatic players, and Prescott is well liked by his teammates. But Brady is up there with the other all-time greats in leadership. Everybody looks up to him, and they never want to let the guy down. His desire and will to win, along with fiery attitude, have made Brady a special teammate that everybody wants. He's quite frankly a coach's dream. The Cowboys have a fairly young roster that's devoid of Super Bowl experience. Throw a guy like Brady into the mix, and he could change the whole dynamic of this team. The young guys like Elliott, Michael Gallup, and Leighton Van Der Esch could use an NFL veteran and leader who can show them what it takes to win. Just look at how quickly the Denver Broncos turned a corner when they added a legend like Peyton Manning, or when the New Orleans Saints added Drew Brees in 2006. The Cowboys simply need somebody who could step up, command the respect, and show how you win a championship. And nobody is more qualified for such a role than a 6-time Super Bowl champion. Number 7, managing Jerry Jones' ego and personal decisions. There's no telling how many more Super Bowls the Cowboys could have won if they kept Jimmy Johnson around. But Jones couldn't stand the 2-time Super Bowl winning coach, and the tense working relationship was beyond repair. Jones' ego got in the way, and though the Cowboys added one more Lombardi with Barry Switzer, they quickly became irrelevant and haven't been back to the big stage in a quarter century. Jones' ego has also allowed him to make many other questionable personnel decisions, such as staying loyal to Jason Garrett for an entire decade. Having Brady around, however, could go a long way towards minimizing Jones' ego, or selfishness, or power trip, or whatever you want to call it. Brady wouldn't want to deal with it, and surely he'd have some major input in roster and personnel decisions. Maybe it wouldn't be in the contract, but Brady would surely ask for some say in the managing of the club, and he'd hopefully ask Jones nicely to not do things over his head. Brady would obviously have some say in the structure of Mike McCarthy's and Kellen Moore's offense. I mean, a 43-year-old quarterback should be able to do that, especially the one who's won so much. You can't overwork the guy, and the Cowboys would have to cater to Brady's needs. Bringing Brady aboard would minimize the damage that Jones could do with his ego, and that's something the Cowboys and their fans desperately need. They've never had it before, but TB12 could be the one to finally change that. Number 6, Brady would come cheaper. Reports have stated that Prescott turned down a Megs contract offer that would have paid him $33 million annually. The two sides were apparently close to reaching a deal, but Prescott ultimately decided he wanted more money. With all due respect to Prescott, he simply isn't worth that much money. We know quarterbacks are earning more and more every year, but a guy with one playoff win in 4 years isn't exactly worthy of $40 million annually. Yes, obviously that had to do with Jason Garrett and a few other factors, but still, he hasn't won that many playoff games. Though Brady will probably want a little more money compared to what he was making in Foxborough, he probably wouldn't command anything outrageous. Dallas could probably sell him on the idea of signing a deal worth $25 to $30 million annually with incentives. Jerry Jones can also use the whole no Texas state taxes to his advantage here. They can essentially offer Brady less annually, but he'd still be taking home more compared to playing in California. Number 5, Brady's contract would be more manageable. Not only could the Cowboys sign Brady for less money annually than Prescott, but choosing Brady over Dak would also give them plenty of long-term flexibility from a salary cap point of view. With the NFL's top quarterbacks now commanding $30 million plus per year, the Cowboys will seriously hurt their long-term salary cap situation by signing Dak to a lucrative extension. If you pay Prescott around $40 million annually on, say, a 4 or 6 year deal, wait until that one expires. Then you'll be having to pay him even more when it's time to work on the next contract. Or, you know, the Cowboys could just pay Brady and ditch Dak and save anywhere from $10 to $20 million annually in cap space. And when Brady's done, the next Dallas quarterback will hopefully still be on his rookie deal. At the very least, Brady's successor wouldn't immediately cost anything close to $30 million plus. And by choosing Brady over Prescott, the Cowboys would free up the valuable cap space needed to eventually essentially retain all of their other key players, while leaving the door open to add free agents down the stretch. It'd be a savvy business move on the Cowboys' ends. There are some quarterbacks that have proven to be worthy of $30 million annually. Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, and Patrick Mahomes, just to name a few. But Prescott, not quite yet. Gotta see more. If Prescott is going to demand more than he's worth, why should the Cowboys give in? Simply pay Brady, keep your long-term cap situation manageable, and set yourself up nicely for the long run. That's way safer than putting all your eggs into the hands of Prescott while simply hoping for the best. So far, the LA Rams don't look wise for doing that with Jared Goff. The Philadelphia Eagles may have buyer's remorse on the oft-injured Carson Wentz. And Ben Roethlisberger's massive 2-year extension looks bad for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So Jerry Jones, you might want to take a look around the league before committing that much money to Prescott. Number 4, the marketing and business factors. Some teams just love to add past their prime stars if it means simply selling tickets. Think of when the Los Angeles Rams brought in Joe Namath, or when the Arizona Cardinals signed Emmitt Smith, or when the New York Rangers signed Wayne Gretzky. Sometimes it's smart to sign a big-name star regardless of their current level of play. Money always talks, and Dallas owner Jerry Jones takes a lot of pride in making all the money he can. The Cowboys always sell tickets, no matter what. They're always a TV rating darling. But just imagine what signing Brady would do for Jones and his Cowboys. America's team already has a massive following across the nation. Just add one of the most marketable and big-name athletes in the world, ticket prices will surge and go through the roof. Merchandise sales would skyrocket even more. Oh, and TV ratings for the Cowboys would be much, much higher. The Cowboys will instantly become the hottest ticket in the United States, all because of one quarterback entering his age 43 season. And if you're Jones or a member of the Cowboys front office, how could you possibly complain about earning even greater revenue through merchandise, as well as ticket sales and TV ratings? And honestly, he could still probably win a championship, so it's really not that bad of a deal. Number 3, Brady can mentor the next Dallas quarterback. Those who don't think the Cowboys should sign Brady will simply point out the fact that he's entering his age 43 season, whereas Prescott is still young and only entering his prime years. Why ditch a long-term starter for a guy who probably has more than 2 or 3 years left? Point taken, but the Cowboys can always plan for the future and the present here. They could sign Brady, move on from Prescott, and then look for another young quarterback to groom as TB12's successor. The Denver Broncos took this path in 2012 when they signed Peyton Manning, before drafting Brock Osweiler. The latter didn't end up being Manning's successor, but at least John Elway had a plan in place. If Jerry Jones adds Brady, he could either trade for a young quarterback, think Josh Rosen, or simply draft one in 2020 or 2021. It'd be a win-win for the Cowboys, who would have all angles covered. They'd have a quarterback who can lead them to a Super Bowl right away, while giving themselves enough time to develop and prepare Brady's successor. Number 2, Brady perfectly fits the game manager role. Brady was no longer his MVP self during his 2018 season. The Patriots relied heavily on their rushing game and stingy defense to carry them to a Super Bowl. Brady made the plays when he had to, but he was no longer the strength of Bill Belichick's team. Even though Brady experienced a steep statistical decline in 2019, he still did enough to help the Patriots win 12 games and another division title. Ask John Elway and Peyton Manning about transitioning towards a game manager role late in their careers. Both retired as Super Bowl winning quarterbacks for the Denver Broncos. And hey, Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers enjoyed a resurgence in 2019 as he moved from game changer to more of a game manager. He'd be the perfect fit in the Cowboys offense here. Brady would play behind a top 5 offensive line, which would obviously prevent him from taking so many hits. Secondly, using Brady in a game manager role would mean using Ezekiel Elliott as a centerpiece of the offense. Dallas has had more success when they put the game in Zeke's hands, and Brady would be playing for a Cowboys team with the same structure as the 2018 and 2019 Patriots. A rush-heavy offense with a playmaking defense that can hold down the fort. And with all due respect to the other running backs Tom Brady has played with, none of them are game changers like Elliott. The Cowboys would be able to reduce Brady's workload and keep him fresh as the season progresses. And he can make the big plays when the Cowboys need it most. Prescott hasn't been able to prove that he's capable of carrying the offense completely if the situation calls for it. So the Cowboys have good reason to make Elliott the rock of the offense again, all while using Brady in the well-suited game manager role. Number 1, Brady has been there, done that. Prescott only has 3 playoff games and 1 postseason win under his belt. Brady, on the other hand, has made the Super Bowl in practically half of his seasons as a starter. That's insane. That's ridiculous. TB12 holds the record for basically every meaningful playoff stat. Most wins, passing yards, touchdowns, and yeah, 6 Super Bowl rings. That's pretty good, I would say. I mean, if I had to, take a guess. Brady's experience, his clutch factor, and his championship pedigree are the key reasons why he'll generate so much interest on the open market. Ever since Troy Aikman retired, the Cowboys have only added 2 capable starting signal callers, Tony Romo and Dak Prescott. Romo was simply not a clutch performer, and Prescott hasn't proven that he could break through in the big game yet. Brady is still a capable starter in the NFL, and even if he's no longer playing like he's elite, most will tell you that they'd still trust him in a big game situation more than Prescott. So why wouldn't the Cowboys want to add a guy like Brady? Prescott might be clutch. He might elevate his game on the bigger stages, but the key word is might, whereas Brady will do it, because he's shown us time and time again that he can. If there's one reason for Jerry Jones to move on from Dak Prescott and replace him with Brady, it's because TB12 has been there, and he's done that. Do you think the Cowboys should ditch Dak Prescott for Tom Brady? Join me in the comments section below. Make sure to follow myself and TPS on social media. We post great content all the time. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, everything. Every social media you can think of, we're on it. Not Tumblr. I don't even know other social medias. Not Visco. Just go follow us. If you like this video, give it a like. It takes one click right down below. And subscribe to TPS because we post videos every single day. Every day is a new video. Why would you not want sports content every day? They're good videos. Of course, thank you so much for watching. I'm Jason Biondo. I'll see you next time.
My knee.